Hello and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Mary and welcome to another Craft Day Monday, where every Monday I post a new video. In today's video, I am going to be showing you how I made this little hunter gnome. In my first video, I made the rifle, and in this video, we're going to be just making the gnome. So what you're going to need for that is you're going to need a styrofoam ball, and I already went ahead and cut mine in half. You're going to be needing a smaller size styrofoam ball, that this would be his nose. You're going to be needing some type of camouflage clothing. You're going to be needing scissors. You're going to be needing felt, and I went with black. And you're going to be needing the little baby shower shoes that they come like this, and I've already covered one in felt. You're going to be needing flexible curling rods, and you're also going to be needing wooden dowels. So I'm just going to go ahead and as you can see, I am filming somewhat different today. Something's going on with my regular camera, so I am using my phone, so let's just hope for the best. So what we're going to do first, you're also going to be needing a styrofoam cone, and this is what it looks like. Ignore how this looks. Yeah, so this is what your styrofoam cone going to look like, and here is the flexible curling rods. And what I did was I just took my scissors and I'm just going to cut one end off, and you're just going to pull this part out because we don't need that part. And what you're going to do is you're just going to feed this through just like this. So you're just going to feed this through, and then this is where you make your gnome as tall or as big as you want it. And then you would just cut off the amount you want. Mine's is about 3 inches, and I just went ahead and insert them in and glued them in place. And what I did was I took my wooden dowel and I pierced it, made a hole in, put some hot glue right in the middle, and stuck these right up in there to make our legs. I took another wooden dowel, stuck it in the top of the styrofoam cone, because this is going to be used as his neck. Then you want to take your styrofoam ball that we cut in half, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to pierce it like this, and then we're going to go ahead and glue that in place. So you're just going to go ahead. I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue right around here. And we're just going to hold this a bit and let that dry. I'm going to set this to the side while that's drying. So while that's drying, you're going to take another styrofoam cone or flexible curling rod, and you're going to fold this in half. You're going to go ahead and cut that. And then you're going to take your camouflage material, and this will be used for the arms. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to put a layer of hot glue, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to roll this just like that. And then you're going to glue your ends like this. Just going to set this down here. And once you get your ends glued, you're going to end up with 2, and these are going to be your gnome arms. We're going to set those to the side. And you're also going to be needing some faux fur. And this is going to be used what we use for the beard. So I went ahead and cut some. So what you do is you take your faux fur and you want to use an X-Acto knife. I don't recommend using scissors because if you use scissors on faux fur, it's just going to make a huge mess. So I went ahead and cut out my beard from my faux fur. And as you can see, I just cut in a little U shape. And I've done this in every single video that I've ever made where I made gnomes. I've done the beard the exact same way. Nothing's really changed with that. I'm going to grab a shoe. So this is what I use for my gnome shoes. I have made those out of cardboard. There's plenty of videos of that up. So, here are my gnome shoes that are covered in felt. And I've also done this step in several videos where I just take the felt, cut it, and then you're just going to go ahead and put a little bit of hot glue around the base of the shoe, the bottom. You're going to take your felt and we're just going to go ahead and line that up just like this. And you're just going to go all the way around the shoe. Add a little bit to the back and to the sides. And we're just going to go ahead and cover this up just like this. You're going to cut off the extra. I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue right here. We're going to close this. Going to go ahead and clean this end up a bit. You're going to take hot glue, put that down in the middle, pinch, pull. I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue right here, close that, put some down off in the middle, and we're just going to tuck this in just like this. And this is how you make your shoe for your gnomes. I'm going to set that to the side. I'm going to go ahead, bring my gnome back. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, here is my little pair of pants that I made for my gnome. And I'm just going to glue that end down. And what I did for my gnome pants is I took a piece of that camouflage material, and by the way, these pants were given to me, so I am just going to take my scissors and I'm just going to find a random spot to cut so I can show you guys how I made the pants. Everything is done with hot glue. I did not do any type of sewing, and I'm not following any type of pattern. This is just something that I did. So basically what I did was I'm just going to clean up my ends a bit. Now this all depends on what size gnome you're making. Would it be based on the size of his gnome clothes that you make? This part here will be the opening. And what I did was all I did was took my scissors, made a little slit right up the middle where you have it open like this. I glued these two ends together like that. Let that dry. Glue these two ends together. Let that dry. Don't glue it all the way across because there's the opening for the legs. And here are your little pair of gnome jeans. And here's my pair here. So I'm just going to bring my gnome back. And we're just going to go ahead. I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue right here. So we're going to go ahead and slide our gnome right into his little jeans. This is what we have so far. I'm just going to go ahead, pull this up a bit more, and I'm going to grab one of my shoes just to see how it's going to look, to see if I need to adjust my pants any. And I'm going to go ahead and glue the pants down on my gnome. And it does not have to go all the way up because it's going to be covered. So I'm just going to go ahead, hold here. I'm just going around my gnome all the way around. It doesn't look like much now, but it will pull it together. And if you don't have a styrofoam cone, there's other ways to make a gnome body. I mean, the possibilities are endless. There's so many different ways. And so many things you can use to make a body. And I have several different videos on where I made gnomes using different materials. Just basically everyday stuff you find laying around your house. So now we have our pants on our gnome. I am going to go ahead and put some hot glue right down off in the shoe. So you're just going to squeeze some hot glue right down off in there. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab another glue stick. And we're just going to go ahead and squeeze some hot glue. And you want to use a good amount because you want to make sure that your gnome does not come out. And I didn't use anything to weight my gnome down because he is going to be glued down on a wooden disc, which you do not have to do that step if you don't want to. That's just something I do. I'm just going to hold this here and I'm just going to adjust his pants a bit. I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue right down here on the side. And I'm just going to hold this here, just like that. We're going to allow our, and he already stands as you can see, he already stands up without being weighted down. There we have it. I'm going to set him to the side so we can work on his jacket. I'm going to hold this here and let that dry a bit before I move it. I was just going to go ahead and slide it to the side, but I'm just going to go ahead and hold this here. Let's set this there. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and just keep him here. As you can see, he's standing on his own. There's no need to weigh him down because, like I said, he's going to be going on a wooden disc. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work on the jacket part of our gnome. So we're going to work on his jacket. And all I did for that, there we go, is I took a piece of the camouflage material, and I'm just going to bring my gnome here, and I'm just going to see about how long I want it. So of course I'm going to have to cut it down a bit. So I'm just going to fold this like this. I'm just going to grab my scissors and I'm just going to cut off a bit. There's that. I'm going to go ahead and cut here a little. And then I'm going to measure my gnome again to see about how much I want to take off. So I'm going to bring my gnome back. We're going to bring this back. I'm going to go ahead, set him to the side, bring this, and I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that it's even. And we're just going to clean up this little here, this a bit. This part is going to be trial and error. It's just going to be how you want it to look. So I'm going to bring him. Going to go ahead. This is what we have so far. And I don't want them to be exactly the same. It's why I used a different type of camouflage. Now what I'm going to do is I am just going to go ahead and just put a little bit of hot glue right down the base of this like this. And I'm just going to fold this just a hair. This step is optional. You do not have to do this step. I'm just going to do it just to separate my jacket from my pants. So we're just going to fold it up just a bit. Being very careful not to burn your fingers like I always do. And I'm going to do the same thing up top. So we're just going to go ahead, put a little bit of hot glue down through here, and I'm just taking it and just folding it over just a hair. Once again, you're just going to go ahead, put a little bit of hot glue, and we're just going to fold as we go. Continue all the way down to the end. And I'm going to do the same thing to the ends right here. So basically, we're just going to put a little bit of hot glue. Don't do too much at one time, or it'll dry before you can get it folded over. Put a little bit more right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and go here. Same thing, last side. Go ahead, a little bit of hot glue. Here. Just fold it over just a hair. There we have that. Then we're going to go here, add it, fold that over here just like that. We're going to go here, and we're going to go like this. Smooth this out the way, and here we have, now we're going to bring it here, and we're just going to go ahead and adjust about how it's where we want it to be. And I am going to go ahead right here. I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue right down here, just like this, right down in the middle, just right on top. And then you're going to take your gnome and you're going to glue him right down to the back, just like this. You're going to hold it here, and we're just going to go ahead and fold over. So we're going to pinch and pull, just like this. Now we're going to come up. You're going to pull this up just like this. Now we're going to go around, and we're just going to pull our coat up on our gnome. And I'm just making some little, just pushing it here, just like that, in the back. I'm going to go here. We're going to put some hot glue right there, and I'm just going to hold this here and let that dry. And I'm just going to go around and do the same thing around the top. There we go. This is what we have so far. So now that we have our little camouflage pants on, this is him from the back, here he is from the front. We're going to go ahead and add our, I'm not going to add the arms just yet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my nose And I'm going to take my piece of peach felt, and what we're going to do is we're just going to wrap his nose in this felt, and then we're just going to go ahead and glue it in place. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of hot glue right around. Stick that upside down, and then we're just going to go ahead and pull. And I've done this step in several of my other videos also. So we're just going to go, and I know it's probably hard to see because everything is light, but I've done this same method in all my gnomes, where I wrap it in felt. Now we're just going to go ahead, take our scissors, and we're just going to cut off the extra. Move that out the way. And I'm just going to make mine so it's flush with his face, because I don't want it to be too bulky. So I'm just trimming off the extra felt. So this is what you're going to end up with. So now we're going to go ahead and glue this about right in the middle. You're going to go ahead, stick that right down on top. Just like this. So we have our nose glued in place. Now we're going to take our faux fur, his beard, and you're just going to go ahead and pick about where you want it. I'm going to put mine here. And you could also use white faux fur if you have it. You do not have to just necessarily go with this color. I have both colors on hand, so that's kind of what I went with. So I am just going to go ahead, put some hot glue. Right around the edge of my gnome. And then we're just going to go all the way to the ends. Bring him back. And we're just going to go ahead and attach our beard to our gnome. And this is what we have so far. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make his little hat. And all I did for that was I took some of the material, set that here, that we're going to use. I'm going to turn this over. And I'm just going to go ahead and just cut off a piece. And we're just going to make him like a bandana. So I'm just basically cutting off a little patch. So we'll set this here. So I have a little, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to fold this over a bit. And then we're just going to go ahead and wrap this around his head like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to take some hot glue. And I'm just going to fold it up just like this. Then we're going to go here, and we're just going to pull this up. just going to go ahead and cut this end off here. Bring my gnome back. I'm going to just bring this over a bit like this. So we're going to go ahead, put some hot glue right across here, and you want to make sure that this go right down on the brim of his nose. So you want to put that right on top. So this is what we have. So we're putting this right down on top. And I'm just going to go ahead, push this in a bit. So we have that. I'm going to roll him over. Put some hot glue right on the end. We're going to take this. We're going to tuck this. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So I'm just going to bring this here. We're going to put some hot glue right down through here. Going to pull tight. Bring this around and pull it to the back. Put a little bit of hot glue right on top. Pull that. Tuck this here. Pull that. This. Gonna go ahead and go down through here. So we're just securing the back like this. A little bit of more hot glue. I am going to take these ends here and I'm just going to cut off a bit of it here. I am just going to take this, put a little bit of hot glue right through here. And I'm just going to tuck everything. I'm going to roll it under. And right now, I'm just going to go ahead, put some hot glue right under the bottom, like this. So we're just going to secure this back here. And there we have our hat for our gnome. And I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue right under there. Hold that here. And here is, next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and attach his arms. So I just gave it a little bend and I'm just going to put that right under the beard, So you want, and I usually tend to, if both of my hands are busy, I do tend to take my teeth and push my glue stick down. I'm just going to add a bit more hot glue just to make sure his arm is nice and secured. And we're just going to go ahead, pop that right here, just like this. And I'm just going to help hold that there so I don't burn my fingers. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. I am going to just pull up. I'm going to check out my other side to see about where I want it, to make sure everything is nice and even before I glue it. So I'm just going to bend here. And the reason I went with the flexible curl rods, because you can adjust, you can bend the arms in any direction that you want it to go. So I'm just going to hold that here, stick that under there just like this. Make sure everything is nice and dry. Here we have our gnome. So far we're almost done. I'm just adjusting his arms. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our base, and I'm going to go ahead and stick him down on it just like this, and I'm just putting a little bit of hot glue right in the middle of that disc, and we're just going to go ahead. I'm going to grab some more glue, and you don't need a base. If yours would stand on its own, you don't have to put yours on a base. I just like to display my gnomes standing on something, and since he's a hunting gnome, I figured we'll just put a little bit of grass around him. We're going to stick him right down on top just like this. This is what we have so far. And y'all remember me doing a video of my rifle? Here it is. I did not color it yet or paint it, but I will. I am going to go ahead and grab my green moss that we have here, and I'm just going to take out a little bit. We're just going to set this here, and I'm just going to break it up a bit, and we're going to do the same. Grab a little more. Not exactly sure how much I'm going to need just yet, so I'm just going to take my hot glue gun, and I am just going to go around the whole base, and we're just going to stick our little, we're just going to stick this right down on top, just like that. Going to go around. You're going to continue to go around, just like this. And I'll just pull off any extras that's sticking out, or you can leave it. It's really not up to you on how you want it to look. So once again, I am just going around the whole gun, or the whole base, and I'm just sticking the green moss down, and this is going to serve as the grass. Since he is a hunting gnome, we figured we'd make him standing in a patch of grass. I'm just going to go ahead and move that out of the way. And now all we have to do is add our little rifle that we have here. And I'm just going to turn him to face me so I can see about how I want him to look. And here he is, completely finished. And here he is from the back. And here is our other one. And if you want him to have gloves, that's really simple to do. I'm just gonna put a little bit of hot glue here. I'm not going to give mine gloves, but I want y'all, if y'all want to do that, I want to give y'all the option to do so. So basically what I did was I took my my camouflage, folded it over, and then you just basically, all you're doing is drawing a mitten. So if you decide that you want to do mittens on your gnome, all you're going to do is just cut out basically a U shape. So all I'm doing is just cutting out and this is what you're going to end up with if you decide you want to do mittens. But I'm not going to do none on this one because I don't want them to be identical. So here he is, all finished, and here is my first one. And like I said, you can paint the rifle any color you want, but I will eventually paint this, but I'll do that another time. And yeah, that is it for this video. If you like this video, please give me a like and a thumbs up. Please feel free to share this video with your family and friends. If you are not already subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would love for you to become part of my YouTube family. And with that being said, thank you so much for taking the time out to watch one of my videos. I hope you all have a nice day. Bye.